All right. Good morning. Good morning. If you're in the back, if you'll come on up. In fact, we want to encourage you to sit in this kind of front section. And so if you're back there talking right now and grabbing a biscuit and not listening, then whenever you get a chance, come on up. We've got some great seats still available, but they're going quick. So come on up and we're going to get started. So welcome to our Breakfast with the Mayors, Franklin tomorrow. What an amazing event. It's just so great. And this is a great time of year to be having the gathering to get us all together and get ready as we go forward into a new school year. And man, God's doing some great things right here in our own community, and we are so blessed. So if you guys in the back can hear me, if you can kind of move on up, and then I'm going to go ahead and open us in a word of prayer, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mindy and Patrick, and then we'll have our mayors come on up. And so let me go ahead and pray for us as we start today. So let me pray right now. Father God, thank you so much for today. Thank you, God, that we get to live in this special place. Thank you, God, for all that you're doing right here and in our community. And God, I pray right now, I know it's election season, and so I pray for all our elected officials. I pray that you give them wisdom. I pray for all those who are running for office, God. Just give them stamina, God, and God, just bless them, encourage them today, Father. And God, it makes such a difference, the leadership here, and we are so blessed with our mayors, and I pray that you continue to bless them and bless their families. And God, I pray for all the students who are getting ready to start back to school. I pray for our teachers, all of our educators, our administrators, God, and the schools make such a difference. And so be with them, protect them, God, help them to grow and help us to raise up the next generation here, Father, right here in our community. Thank you for Franklin tomorrow. Thank you for this place and that we get to live here in one of the most special places in the world. God, people are coming here, they're flocking here. And God, allow us to be great leaders and allow us to be people after you. And it's in your name that we pray and dedicate this morning to you. Amen. Amen.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Welcome. Now, I'm going to encourage you to come sit in the front section.
Yeah, you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to.
Really want to come sit in the front sections.
This is a hint.
We don't have confetti cannons or anything, but it might be worth your while to sit in the front section.
It's going to be worth your while.
Good morning,
Good
Patrick.
morning, Mindy. How are you?
I'm good. So we're going to get started because we want to give as much time as possible to our speakers. And so, but first and foremost, we always also like to thank our partners, and I'll let you start.
Absolutely. We have some tremendous sponsors and supporters. Maybe some of you who dipped in our jar over here, in our dip jar, where you could donate $20. This is a free event, but we appreciate all those who have supported us. But specifically today, we want to talk about Pinnacle Financial Partners, who has been a long time sustaining partner or partner for Breakfast with the Mayors.
And Linda Elmlinger is here. Thank you, Linda and Pinnacle.
Thank you. And then Williamson Medical Center, who is also here, has been a long-time partner
and thank you
for
so
Breakfast
much.
with the Mayors and a lot of other things.
Kindness matters. Did you know that?
Kindness matters.
I think that while they have that campaign for the medical center and the medical professionals in our community right now, I think we can all agree kindness matters. So I want to see that everywhere.
I hear it on the radio.
Yep, hear it on the radio, WAKM.
WAKM, all right.
So we also have platinum partners, and we'd like to thank them, and they include Patterson Hardy Ballantyne, Hazen and Sawyer, Williams County Association of Realtors, Gresham Smith, Williamson Memorial, and then we also couldn't do Breakfast with the Mayors without the support of Puckett's Grocery and Restaurant and the Good Food Group, which is the local McDonald's franchisee. So let's thank everybody. Thank you so much. Okay, we've got several special guests here this morning. First, if you are an elected official, please stand. Now, if you are running for office, please stand. Thank you. And just a reminder, early voting continues through Saturday for the August 4th primary, and Franklin tomorrow encourages you to vote for the candidate of your choice. We encourage you to vote and be engaged in your community. So.
Very good. Yes. No, we've got a really special treat this morning. One of my favorite seasons in Franklin is in the fall. We're not there. We're in the dog days of summer, it feels like.
Hot.
But coming up September the 24th and 25th is
Pilgrimage.
So it is a wonderful time. Please come up, Kevin, and share with us about the upcoming season and events.
Kevin
We look
Griffin.
forward to it.
Kevin Griffin, one of the co-founders.
Thank
of
you so
Realtors.
much, Mindy. Say, Patrick, thank you so much, guys. Hi, I'm Kevin Griffin. 9 years ago, the day after Thanksgiving, I took a run and I found myself at a Harlansdale farm. I had the idea to do Pilgrimage Festival. I ran back to my friends and we started that idea. I was advised by several different people, Mary Pierce and Aubrey Preston. They were like, the first person you need to speak to is Mayor Ken Moore. I did that. The mayor was a huge advocate for the festival, and I met Monique McCullough, Melissa Ryerson, and now suddenly here we are, September 24th and 25th. We have our 8th Pilgrimage Festival. We have Chris Stapleton. We have Brandy Carlisle, Jean Batiste, who swept the Grammys, the Avett Brothers, and we have my band, Better Than Ezra, and we'll be playing as well. We're so excited. Every year we try to make this festival better. Make it safer, make it something that we're all proud about in the community, something that's family friendly, that's amazing music, that showcases the best food, artisans, merchants of Middle Tennessee. And this year, God willing, we're going to have sidewalks connecting downtown. We hope. We'll see. I've been Eric Stuckey. You've given me your promise.
There's Eric over here.
There he is, right over there. So ticket sales have been brisk for us, but every year we need your help. This is truly a community effort. You know, I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I went to Jazz Fest every year, and I saw how a festival that had a charitable component that had its roots in the community with the churches could really be something everybody had a stake in. And that said, we need you as well. We need you to reach out to your constituents, to your congregations, and I'm here to help out any way I can. I will come speak to people and just talk about Pilgrimage Festival and get people in the community out. Speaking of the community, we have an amazing advisory board, which is made up of a lot of the luminaries who are here tonight. So we realize with Pilgrimage Festival, we get better the more we embrace the community. Okay, speaking of tickets, in September 24th, we've done a little fun thing. There are 2 pairs of GA tickets hidden in this room right now. And if you reach under your chairs, and I know where I put them, if you reach under chairs, you'll feel something, paper. If there's an empty chair next to you, you may find it.
Get up and look. I mean,
You better get up and look.
Better get up and look.
This
Maybe-
gentleman has won a pair of tickets. And I know there's
one
it
more.
over here because I hit it over here and there's
more
nobody
over
sitting there.
here.
Check your
under those
chairs.
That's a whole empty row right there, people.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yay!
So those are 2 pairs of GA tickets. Again, and also, if you have a charitable organization, I'd be happy to come, talk, play guitar, do what I need to do. High Hopes and all the other organizations. However we can help and reach out, we're here for you. Pilgrimage Festival, September 24th and 25th. That's enough for me. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Thanks
Can't
so
wait.
much. Well, that was fun.
That was fun. I kind of felt like I was at Pilgrim. You know,
Yeah.
that excitement, the
You wanted to
scrambling for the
actually-
tickets. I felt like I was
You
there.
actually wanted to go out
I
there
did.
and
I
get
almost
one.
ran down there to get
Yeah,
them.
I got some tickets. I've got mine already purchased, so that's all
We
good.
did too.
So, well, we're having a party. This is a
We
party
were having
enough.
a party. That was a kind of like a party, but we're having one on Saturday.
On
Franklin
Saturday.
tomorrow turns 22 this year, and we are celebrating Saturday night with dinner on Franklin's Main Street at the factory.
Nobody really wants to sit outside on July 30th, and we wanted to have dinner on Main Street. So we're recreating Main Street inside Jameson Hall through some projection and the decor. It's going to be a great, fun evening. Really about food and fun and fellowship. Snappy summer casual.
Snappy
is the
summer casual.
attire. You can't wear that jacket.
Can't wear the jacket.
Can't wear the jacket. So we hope you'll consider coming. We do need to have tickets in advance, and you can do that by following that QR code, and it's also available at our table. But
There are only a few left. I think
they're
40 or 50.
It was 50 yesterday. It's
50
42
yesterday, 42 today.
yeah.
So please pick up your tickets. And one thing, if you love the programming at Franklin tomorrow, our Frank Talks, our Breakfast with the Mayors, this is not just a party to have a party. We are raising money to initiate and fund and seed an endowment that helps us fund all the programming you have here. So it is a party with a purpose, but we are celebrating certainly 22 years of Franklin tomorrow, and we will have a creative way of displaying our history. I was telling someone earlier that the history of kind of Franklin in the last 22 years can be kind of tied closely with a lot of what Franklin tomorrow has done. So we're going to showcase that. Please make plans to attend.
We hope you'll be there. So thanks so much, Patrick.
Thank
We'll
you.
get started. Leave that mic up here somewhere. Okay, great. We're going to get started with our program, and I'm going to bring up our mayors, Williamson County Mayor Rogers Anderson and Franklin Mayor Dr. Ken Moore. Come on up, guys. Oh, they're working out their bit, I guess. I'm not sure about that, but welcome, guys. Y'all have anything to say? You want to sit over here? You
Where
can
am I
sit
supposed to sit?
you
On
can-
this side?
Uh-huh.
Great. Morning, Rogers. I'm good. I'm good.
Uh-oh.
There's no.
Are we
We
social
back and forthing?
distancing or anything?
I'm excited about the two school superintendents coming up and learning, so I'm not prepared a lot of things, but one other event you need to acknowledge is the first Friday in August is the Williamson County Fair. It'll be here for 9 days.
Williamson County Fair. Can't miss it. Can't miss it. Ken, you got anything?
Well, I've got just a couple of things. And first of all, I don't know if Chief Faulkner is here or any of her folks, but she was just named president of the Tennessee Association of Police Chiefs. And that's, yeah. You know, she's been a great leader for our police department, and how timely it is to talk about one of the things that they just finished doing was training police officers, our SWAT team, on how to respond to live shooting events in schools so that we're prepared and know exactly what to do. And I appreciate her vision on that. And then they've got a new tool that'll bust any door, bust any window, and we're excited about that. The other thing I had was to briefly mention that the board the other night approved the people that are going to do the appraisals for property right-of-way acquisitions on Columbia Avenue. So that's one of many steps it takes to get Columbia Avenue finished. But the board approved that the other night, and I know Kevin mentioned Franklin Road, and we're all disappointed that's not done yet. I drive it frequently, and I know that our staff is working very, very closely with the contractor to continue to push that project through. And lastly, you know, the board just approved our budget. You know, we're in the first month of a new fiscal year. Our budget is balanced. It complies with all the things that we have to do as far as the city, as far as benchmarks that we've set. There's no property tax increase. That's okay to clap for that. But an important thing that came out of that budget is $20 million that we're going to be able to put toward capital projects moving forward. So that's exciting too.
Great. Thank you so much. It is Breakfast with the Mayor, so we always do want to give them a chance to say something and update you, but you can go back and find Roger's State of the County address from last week on YouTube and on the city and on the county channel, I'm pretty sure, if you want a full briefing on that. But I want to go ahead and bring up Jason Golden, who's Williamson County Schools Superintendent, and Dr. David Snowden, who's the Franklin Special School District Director of Schools, and have them come up and present their program on the challenges and opportunities facing education. He'll be You want me to do it? So we are going to have, first we're going to hear from Dr. Snowden from Franklin Special School District about celebrations and challenges.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I have some breaking news, though. First, I'd just like to say that, number one, teachers are not dumb. Teachers are not Marxists. Teachers need to be trained to be highly effective. The teachers that I know and I have the opportunity to work with, blessed to work with, are smart, they're dedicated, they're passionate, and they're very resilient. If you don't believe that, what's happened over the last 2 years, 2+ years, and the progress that our students have made because of their work, it's extremely important to be trained. Now, I'm about to ask you a question, so if you answer, raise your hand. Be careful because I have a follow-up. So how many in here believe that you can walk in a classroom, 20 kindergartners or whatever grade, and be highly effective without being trained? I don't see anybody. I'm kind of glad because had you raised your hand, I would have said, I'll hire you tomorrow. Well, no, I can't hire you tomorrow because first you have to be fingerprinted and go through a criminal background check. Then you also have to take and pass a praxis test. I didn't say practice test. Praxis, Praxis. So anyway, sorry, Mindy, I went off script a little bit, but
That's okay.
let's get started with the formal presentation, I guess.
So there we go. Your budget highlights.
Yes, and as you can see, it says tentative. And the reason it says tentative is because we just had a board meeting last night, and I really want to brag about our board. And we have at least three board members, and I want to recognize Mr. Robert Blair, our chair, Ms. Alina Bell, our vice chair, Mr. Townsend, our secretary. I don't know if Mr. Stillings is here, Dr. Barker, Robin Newman, but they worked really diligently in this budget. We're able to give our employees a 4% cost of living adjustment in addition to their step increase. They continued the national board certification incentives. They continued the payment of $50 per day for unused sick leave when employees retire. Also have a substitute recruitment and retention plan, and increase the tuition reimbursement program for employees that are seeking advanced degrees. We had a pool of $30,000 in that fund at one point, and now it's $40,000. So when people go back to be highly trained and effective, they can get reimbursed for part of that advanced classes. Also take a moment to brag about our district, about our teachers, the great work they've done, especially every year, but especially over the last couple of school years. And this is the results of the 2022 TCAP. That's a Tennessee Comprehensive Assessment Program. I know you all wanted to know what those letters mean. Here are some facts. In the top 10, FSSD is one of the top 10 districts in Tennessee for overall performance. That's achievement and also subgroup performance. In social studies, 23% higher scores in the state, 17% higher than the state. In science, 20% in math, and 17% in English language arts. So we're very proud of the results. Do we have room to grow? Absolutely. Our motto is continuous improvement. And as long as we do that, then our students will be successful. Here's a few ways that we continue to support our students. And this is long before TCAP tests were ever taken. Math and literacy instructional coaches in every building to support our teachers. Instructional technology specialists directly support teachers and administrators. One-to-one devices for all of our students, K through 8, and hotspots for those who don't have access to Wi-Fi at home. Free summer learning camps for priority students in grades 1 through 8 to provide additional learning opportunities. After-school tutoring opportunities with certified, highly trained teachers. United Way's Raise Your Hand after-school tutoring with trained volunteers for reading and math support. Increased phonics instruction. Our teachers have been trained through the state's Reading 360 initiative, and intervention paraprofessionals that were hired to focus on supporting students who had some learning loss as a result of the pandemic. I also like to brag about some completed capital projects. We had a ribbon cutting for the Franklin Special School District Performing Arts Center. It's a really great facility. I look forward to the community using that. Of course, our schools will be using it. We have so many talented students in our schools, whether it's Franklin Special or Williamson County schools, and this Performing Arts Center will give them an opportunity to really showcase their talents. And also, it will be able to be used once we figure out how much use we can get from the school district. We'll also have opportunities for the community to use this really state-of-the-art facility. 15.9 million, over 3,400 square feet, 484-seat auditorium. Included in that facility is a legacy gallery, which I know you're wondering, what is a legacy gallery? Well, I think it's important for us to remember where we've been and the people that have contributed to the educational success of schools and school districts. And this legacy gallery, I have to brag on Ms. Susanna Gentry, our communications specialist, Dr. Alicia Erickson, principal of Poplar Grove Elementary. They worked diligently with a lot of community people so we could showcase that history in this legacy gallery. So we hope that you'll have an opportunity to visit there as well. We also, in that project, had a gym that was built for Poplar Grove, over 2,200 square feet, 480 bleacher seats, new locker rooms for home and away teams, connection with the current middle school gym. And that was very much needed. When you have a K-8 school and you only have one gymnasium, then physical education, which is important to all of us, and I think you realize the importance as well, then that created much of an issue and a shortage. Also, our partnership with the city, and we certainly appreciate our partnerships, and you'll see later in a few minutes our different partnerships, and hopefully we didn't leave anyone out. But our partnerships with the county, we appreciate that work. We also appreciate all the partnership opportunities we have with the city of Franklin. This baseball softball complex that we hope will be completed soon in the fall, so that we can have those fields prepared to be operated, to be utilized come spring. So we're very thankful for that and excited to see that progress continue. We're talking about supporting our teachers and our families, our teachers to be innovative in the classroom. We've created partnerships with institutes of higher education to provide alternative pathways to a license. We've increased our starting pay to just over $45,000. We've funded a pay schedule average for teachers that ranks 5th in the state, which allows us to hire teachers with a very wide range of experience. We provided all employees, part-time, full-time, or contract employees, with the opportunity to bring their children and their grandchildren to FSSD schools tuition-free, regardless of where they live. And then the board continued to pay 100% of the individual health, dental, and vision coverage. That doesn't mean we don't have shortages. If you want to drive a bus, we can hire you today. You don't have to take a praxis test. You don't have to you have to be trained. You have to have a CDL, so I guess I need to step back on that. But we need bus drivers, and I know Jason, Williamson County, they need bus drivers. So we're going to continue to do that. One of the things that we all know that mental health is important, and we want to continue to provide as much mental health support for our students. We have a great partnership with Mercy Healthcare, and we're just so thankful for that partnership to provide mental health therapists in all of our schools. We also have, and we're very proud of our therapy dogs, and they provide a great service to not only students, but to teachers. I would venture to say if I tried to take a therapy dog away from a school, I'd get more pushback from teachers than I would from students and parents, even though they enjoy having the opportunity for their children to associate, and it helps really with the social, emotional, and mental health of our students and our faculty. Here you see some of the partnerships that we have. We're so thankful, as I said earlier, for those partnerships. We could not do what we do without the partnerships we have from this community. And finally, just support of our teachers and staff. That's going to be a focus, will continue to be a focus this year for us. You know, you can give lip service saying you support teachers, but actions speak louder than words. Our board spoke very clearly and very loudly last night in the budget that supports those teachers and the compensation package. So we will continue to work and to support our teachers because they are very, as I said earlier, very dedicated, very passionate, and we appreciate the work that they do each and every day. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So, thank you so much, Dr. Snowden, for updating us on the Franklin Special School District and for reminding us what's important at the beginning, our teachers and our staff. And Jason, you've got a presentation as well on Williamson County schools and some of the challenges that y'all are facing, but also the opportunities.
Thank you, Mindy, and thank you all for being here. Thank you for hosting us. It does my heart good every time we can come and speak. Dr. Snowden, you started where the mayor started with the state of the county when he spoke to the chamber, and where I'm going to start. Let's celebrate our teachers. Y'all, let me tell you a little bit. 32 years ago, I was in law school and around a lot of smart people. My life experience has been the smartest people I have worked with professionally are teachers. Those teachers, thank you, Mayor. And I think you all know why we're saying this, because the president of a small college out of Michigan came and spoke, and it got a lot of local media attention when he spoke to that. I can't speak to his experience. I'm sad that that's been his experience with where he works. That has not been our experience. Our experience has been some of the smartest people we've worked with are teachers. But y'all know, you run businesses, you know it's not just about being smart. You know it's about growing in your profession. You know it's about working with others. For us, it's about love for the subject matter and love for students, and that's what we have. It's something special to commit yourself to education and to teaching, and you all know it. Think back to your experience in school. You can each name, I guarantee you can each name somebody who made a difference for you in your life as a teacher. So one focus that we have this year is we're going to celebrate our teachers. And I hope that you all do the same. Thank our teachers for that work. The county has put their money where their mouth is with teachers this year. And if you would slide on to Corey, slide on to our PowerPoint. This year, we have about 3,200 total teachers. We serve over 42,000 students. We have hired about 500 new teachers this year. It's a hard profession. There is a shortage of teachers nationwide. I think many of you know that, and especially in what we call the hard-to-fill areas, special education, some of the more advanced classes in high school, etc. But we have had actually some pretty good success this summer in hiring teachers. We're in a better spot right now hiring teachers than we were this time last year. We've hired a lot of teachers. I put up here our starting teacher salary this year is $45,000. A year ago, it was $41,350, if I got that number exactly right. We were able to increase teacher pay in the middle of the budget year last year. I finished my 17th budget year that I've participated in here with Williamson County Schools. Through the efforts of Mayor Anderson, we were able to make a difference in the middle of the year for all our staff, including teachers, and we were able to do another significant increase for our teachers this fall. So we were able to bump up the starting salary, bachelor's degree, to $45,000. Master's, doctorate, they get paid more on the scale. I hope that's obvious. So all that commitment, all that education for that kind of pay. We need to continue to grow it because it is a profession. But we're proud of the change we've been able to make. If you would jump back a little bit, I want to talk, go back to the slide, Corey, if you would. Or I'm sorry, Mindy, you've got it. You've got it. So we have 50 schools this year. We continue to grow. As part of that growth, well, I'll speak just briefly later to the capital effort that our county goes through in making sure that they give us good facilities so that we can perform those services. So we're celebrating our teachers. They're incredible. They're professional. They work together. One thing that we have really been working on the last few years is teachers getting together and collaborating on student growth. We call it professional learning communities. It's a concept that's been around for decades, but it's the idea that teachers spend time together after they have assessed their students' mastery of standards and compare their work to their peers and say, how did your student do on a particular standard relative to my students? And they trade out ideas and they work together as teams to grow their students. There's an old phrase about that educators use called the education lottery, about, ooh, if you get the great teacher. How many of you years ago said, ooh, I want that teacher? We are growing all our teachers so that tide raises for all our teachers so all our students can grow. That's one of the reasons why, to give a little bit of preview of what I'm going to talk about in September at the State of the Schools with the Chamber, Williamson County Schools on TCAP this year, statewide, 147 school districts, grades 3 through 8 is TCAP. We were number 1 statewide, grades 3 through 8 in English language arts. We were number 1, grades 3 through 8 in math. We were number 1, grades 3 through 8 in social studies. One more, y'all. We were number 1 in science. In all 4 areas this year, Williamson County Schools was number 1 in TCAP. We're celebrating this now because historically we didn't get TCAP data till October or so, right, Dr. Snowden? We're now doing the testing online, and so we're very happy that the state has been able to improve that so that we can respond to what we get from the student data in the year that we're experiencing it. So we're very excited about that. All right, so Mindy, I'm sorry. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so a few more celebrations. This past year, we had 71 National Merit finalists. That's a district record. That's 19 more than we've ever had. We talked about this when it happened. National Merit finalists is a cap. There's a max number nationally. We improved our competitiveness nationally by somewhere around 30% compared to how we've done in all those years past. I'm convinced that one of the reasons we did it, looking back to COVID, is because we fought that battle. We kept students in class. Every day we were fighting that battle. We're so very proud of our high school students. 24 reward schools in 21-22, this school year that just finished. Reward schools are in essence the top 5% of all the schools in the state. We had another National Blue Ribbon school. Over the years we've had, I don't remember, Carol, I can't even read that number now, 14 National Blue Ribbon schools. We've got another one that's a candidate this year for National Blue Ribbon status. I got to tell one quick story. I grew up in metro Atlanta, had a lot of family in Middle Tennessee, that's why I'm back here. My high school in 1985 was a National Blue Ribbon school, my senior year. They still have that on their marquee out front. I drove by a couple of years ago. That's an award that lasts forever. It's incredible. So next, if you would, we have our vision statement that Williamson County Schools will provide a supportive environment that challenges students to excel in academics, athletics, and the arts. And so jump back if you would, Minnie. I'm sorry, I'm messing you up. With 17 individual TSSAA state championships in athletics, 8 Tennessee team state championships, 16 Tennessee middle school championships. This is the first year we joined TSSAA in middle school. We were told by some neighbors in some of our neighboring counties, the moment you join the Tennessee Middle School Association, you're going to become the SEC of the middle schools. Sure enough, it's true. Sure enough. I'm a Vanderbilt grad, but I also graduated from Georgia, so it makes me excited to hear. Thank you for that, whoever clapped for that. My wife's from Brentwood, and I met her in Athens, Georgia. I had to put that plug in. So, all right, next. So, a few capital projects to parallel what Dr. Snowden gave you. We're finishing up a long-term artificial turf project at our high schools. Mayor, thank you for that. We started that project in Nolensville because we couldn't find enough land to have all the practice fields we need. And once Nolensville got artificial turf, it became apparent that that was very productive for us so that we could use those fields year round. So I want to thank the County Commission for funding that. Thank our board for the commitment they had to those strategic planning processes. Page Middle is growing. We've come very close to rebuilding Page Middle. Likewise, Page High School. Likewise, Brentwood Middle School. Our County Commission and our board have been thinking strategically to grow that. We have a school in Fairview that was built in the 50s. It's in better shape than Brentwood Middle that was built in the late 60s and early 70s. Was anybody involved in construction in the late 60s, early 70s? Something about it. We're rebuilding the school, so we're very proud of that. So classroom additions, you see that growth at Ravenwood and Summit, and Nolensville and Centennial are both on our capital plan for that expansion. Dr. Snowden's school system, Franklin Special School District, is a kindergarten through 8 school system, if you all didn't know that. They feed, based on our zoning, both Franklin High School and Centennial. We have an unbelievable relationship with Franklin Special, and Dr. Snowden, I think it's grown over the last 3 years. That's been my experience. We work together to grow those students who come up from the middle school at Franklin Special to arrive in 9th grade. We do the same with all our students. We are so proud of what our teachers are doing on a regular basis. And Mindy, next slide. Challenges. You asked us to talk about challenges. Who has experienced staffing challenges in their business? How many? Thank you, Sheriff. I see some faces there. I know especially in the medical field that's an issue. With law enforcement, that's an issue. With schools, that is an issue. How many of you in your businesses have adjusted your schedule so that folks can work sometimes at home versus in the office so that you can actually staff? How many of you have interviewed and somebody said, you know what, if I'm going to take the job, I need to be able to work from home a couple of days a week? We can't do that with teachers. We need folks there putting in that personal work on a daily basis. Staffing is a challenge, and so we continue to fight that battle just like so many of you. I mentioned teachers already. Dr. Snowden mentioned bus drivers. Bus drivers do have to have that CDL plus 2 endorsements, a PNS endorsement. That staffing continues to be a challenge. We continue to grow the pay. We also actually have both state trainers and state testers on staff so that we can grow that. If you're thinking about retiring, but you really want to get up in the morning, have your middays free, and then want a little bit of work in the afternoon, come be a bus driver for us. I know that we have substitute teachers in the audience because I've spoken to at least one of you today. Thank you for that. Thank you for your work. If you need that flexibility, we'd love to have you. Food supply chain issues. We're facing those challenges on a daily basis. We're being very creative on a daily basis with our food service. Our food service department raises the quality over the basic because we want that good quality food for our students. Costs a little more, but we're able to make ends meet in part because of the federal help, but in part because of you. We're not raising prices this year because we actually were able to grow a little bit of surplus funding last year because we got more reimbursements from the USDA this year, so we're very optimistic about that. And of course, national issues. Dr. Snowden started this conversation out with Teachers Aren't Dumb. The national issues are bleeding into our work. I want you all to know, we teach Tennessee standards. If it's not obvious from our performance and how well we do, I hope it is now. We teach the Tennessee standards. That's what we teach. We teach the whole scope of our community. Our community has a wide variety of thoughts. We commit to the students. We teach them, and we take care of them. In our budget this year, mental health has been a focus because we've seen that in our community. Dr. Snowden mentioned that as well. There's nothing new under the sun. But the responsibilities of schools continue to grow, and we're taking those responsibilities. And I'm so proud of the work our teachers and staff are doing.
One last slide.
Oh, one last slide. Carol Birdsong, make sure that we always mention our In Focus. That's our regular electronic newsletter. So if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. In her professional work nationwide, they just came back from their national conference. Our open rate is somewhere in around 70%, in that range. The open rate on average for schools communication is in the high 20s, somewhere around there. So thank you guys for paying attention to what we're doing.
Thank you so much. People listen to Carol even when she's not singing about school being out, right? They are always
Carol
listening.
Birdsong is a celebrity for your children and grandchildren.
Yes, she is. She's so popular. So you all, when you registered, were given the chance to submit a question, and we've got several of those to ask these gentlemen this morning, and the mayors may want to pipe in as well, but I'm going to start with the big one. If you had the freedom to reinvent the entire structure from scratch, what would get eliminated or reduced, and what would get more resources? Either one of you? It's on. It's on. There, it's live.
This is not going to probably be popular with teachers or with parents, but we wouldn't follow an agrarian calendar every year. We would have an extended school year, and we would put teachers on a longer contract so that students who needed additional help. I'm not trying to do away with summer vacation, but there are a lot of students who need continuous help, and we do have summer school and summer program, but I think to continue to follow an agrarian calendar is not something that I would continue, but I would have students, especially ones that are behind and need some additional support, to have teachers available the entire school, the entire calendar year.
Jason?
So if we started from scratch, well, you know, it's hard to visualize that because our excellence is the result of decades of work. And so we haven't really been thinking in that way. We've been thinking about how to grow each year. 30 or so years ago, many of our county leaders got together and said we were going to be the best. And Mayor Anderson was one of the participants in that. If we started from scratch, we would be doing the professional learning communities that I talked about earlier. We would have more planning time for teachers so that they could get prepared for students. We would have more follow-up time, more time in their day, because we know the time matters. With that being said, we're working towards that, knowing where we are. And we had a painful discussion over the course of 4 or 5 months this past spring to squeeze out some extra time for that very purpose with teachers. So at our elementary schools, we're going to have 11 days of a 2-hour early release on Wednesdays over the course of this year so that our teachers can spend some more time planning. We'd structure the schedule so that there was more planning.
Okay, that's great to know. We've got representatives of several private schools and other educational facilities here, and I'm sure you have partnerships with them, but what can the independent and private schools in the area do to assist or work closely with the actual school systems?
I can speak to things that we have done. I've had a number of conversations over the years with some private school leaders, just kind of brainstorming over teacher professional development. Many of them hold the same licensure standards. We have some excellent private schools in our community, so we brainstorm and bounce off each other ideas. Another service that we provide is for students with disabilities who have speech and language challenges. We actually provide those services to students who aren't even in our school system. That's part of the structure that the state has. So there is a little bit of collaboration in growing students for certain disabilities. Just that brainstorming over issues that are common to our schools. Teaching quality, safety issues, we've had some discussions related to that.
Yeah, I would certainly echo those things as well. And we do, part of our federal funding, we also share with private schools. So we have a lot of opportunity to collaborate with those schools and personnel in those schools and just continue to, as Jason said, brainstorm and collaborate. That's how we all grow as educationals. That's how you grow in your business and operations and your profession. You collaborate with people because alone, none of us have all the answers for certain.
So what adjustment made during the pandemic was one that was a keeper for how you will operate in the future, or was there one? What did the pandemic teach you, and is there anything that you're keeping from that?
The one thing the pandemic taught me is that I should have retired prior to the pandemic.
We're not letting
No,
that happen.
In all seriousness, technology. It has to be technology. I think I had participated prior to COVID, one Zoom meeting. I can't tell you how many Zoom meetings I participated in since, but it was efficient, not as effective as in person, in my opinion. But we were able to do that, and we continue that using those, especially for some IEP meetings when parents need to be at school for a meeting, but their schedule will just not allow it. So we've continued that use, especially for those meetings and some other things. And of course, having the ability to move to an online, a virtual day very quickly now that we all have the technology for our individual students so that we could do that. So technology, I think we learned a lot there.
I'm going to parallel that. We had on our strategic plan devices for our students. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we were thinking about grades 3 through 12 3 or 4 years ago. We sped up that strategic goal because we needed it immediately, and all our students had access to technology. Likewise, I know the county is making it a focus for broadband in rural areas because we were able to pinpoint those areas where there are gaps on that. So it's really been a team effort related to technology.
Well, since this is Breakfast with the Mayors, I'll ask them this question too. What adjustment made during the pandemic was one that was a keeper in how you're operating now or for the future? Ken or Rogers?
Well, I think that probably one of the most important things during the pandemic was the way we communicated with the public. We were all kind of shut out, and I applaud our communications department and Eric Stuckey and what an effort we made to make sure that we were pushing that information that the community needed to know out to them during that time. And I applaud our communication department every single day, and Mr. Stuckey, who really works hard to make sure that the community knows what we're doing. And you can always find out what the Board of Mayor and Aldermen doing because we're on TV. If you miss the TV, you can get it on YouTube or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah. Rogers?
Well, I would hitchhike on the same things, communication. Mindy, when we were going through the pandemic, I did not realize just how many businesses we could get on a Zoom call. Certainly David and Jason were there. We had support staff from them. We had medical doctors. We had all the mayors. We had city managers. We had legal. It looked like a hodgepodge of on a screen, and it was in the early days, in those early weeks. It was every 2 and 3 days. We finally settled on 3 days a week, 3 times a week, and that carried on to help make decisions. None of the decisions that were made during that period of time were done without a lot of collaboration and deliberation of what's best for our community. And some of those decisions were very painful. Some of those decisions, it would cost all of us to really have to set back. But that responsibility, and I think Ken would back this up and the other mayors, that responsibility was shifted down to the county level. And these group of men and women that were on that call, 36 to 50 men and women, every week stepped up to the plate and did what was best for our county. And I think in the long run, it's made a world of difference. Now, I don't want to go through it again. And I'm like David, a lot of us were scratching our heads thinking, what in the world are we doing? But we did get through it. It's a better place for it. Our city mayors, our elected officials, all of us had to sit down and work together to come with a solution. And I'm proud of what our schools did. And looking at these results that both of these school systems had, it's great leadership.
Great, thank you for that. So, to these two gentlemen, how can the community help the school systems? And we've got people here who have children, grandchildren, no children, but how can the community in general help the school systems?
There's lots of examples, and I think about how the community has helped over decades. Support your teachers. That's kind of that basic, elephant in the room. Support your teachers. It's a focus of ours. We know nationally that there is that teacher shortage. We know that the national issues are affecting us more than they ever had before. Recognize what we're doing here and support your teachers. When you hear something, if you're concerned about it, talk to your child's teacher. It's amazing how direct communication can solve those things. So that's number one. And I would say talk up your teachers. The mayor talked about communication during pandemic. Communication is important all the time. So that's a big one for us. Support them in other ways, not just in talk. And Dr. Stone alluded to this in his initial comments. We have unbelievable PTOs. There's been a myth just this past year that our schools aren't open to anyone anymore, and that's something we've heard. Know that our schools are open to you. We're focused on safety, but our schools are open to support. So if you have a student knock on your door and they're selling something for their ball team, give them a little something. Support them. Let our faculty, our staff, and our students know that this community values education in everything you do. That's my number one.
Certainly echo the same things that Jason said, and also we're always looking for volunteers. We have great teachers, we have great paraprofessionals, but we're always looking for people to volunteer and read to a student, have a student read to you. I mean, there are awesome opportunities for public service in our schools, and we would encourage you to consider that. And going back to what Jason said, please support our teachers. We don't have perfect public schools. We don't have perfect private schools. We don't have perfect any business. We're not perfect. We're continuously wanting to improve and grow. I mentioned that earlier. And as Jason said, if you have a problem, you have a question, don't take social media as the gospel. Come to the school, come to the principal, come to us if you have a problem or you think there's a problem, and let's try to resolve that problem instead of exacerbating that problem through other means. That's how we continue to grow, and that's how we continue to improve, and that's what's going to make our children successful in the future is our partnership, our working together.
Thank you for that. The mayor discussed earlier about the recent training with the police department and that they have a tool that'll open any door or window, but we hope you never have to use that. But another question is, what preventative measures outside of law enforcement at the schools does Williamson County and Franklin Special have in place to keep our students safe?
I'll speak to that first. Thank you for the question. And I think it's interesting that the question was outside of law enforcement. Y'all, there's no substitute for people. I want to thank the sheriff and the sheriff's department for people. We have SROs in every building. It was a focus of our board. It was a focus of the county commission to make sure that we do have SROs. I know that the sheriff is facing staffing challenges as well, but he and I have had conversations. They have a plan to make sure there is a person in every building. So I know you asked outside of that, but there is no substitute for people. That's our number one. Every time there is an awful tragedy that gets that national media attention, our minds go back to that. I don't know how many articles I've read related to the Uvalde shooting because experts get called back up. And it was amazing to me that when I hear the experts speak in all those media reports, Every element of what they talk about is an element of what we have. And it includes safety items that are obvious to the public and safety items that we're not going to tell you. And that's appropriate. So one very obvious thing to you ought to be when you come to a school, you go through a security process. At the front entrance to all our schools, we have a video access where you buzz in, you get identified, you have to explain why you're there, and we'll let you in if you're there. That's a necessary element of that. We include in our budgeting continued improvements on access. That's got to be number one. We know that convenience is balanced with that, and so in our budgeting this year, we are actually increasing those video access points. Some of our schools have multiple buildings, and so we're improving the security access between those 2 points, increasing that video access at key points. Also, fob access for our teachers. Children go out to the playground. Teachers, we make sure that we have appropriate access there. So, and again, there are a handful of things I'm just not going to talk about, but I want you to know that we continue to analyze that on a regular basis, not just when an awful event happens, but on a regular basis.
Certainly echo those sentiments as well. I'd like to make sure that recognize Mayor Anderson, County Commission, of course, Sheriff Rhodes and their work with SROs in our schools. As Jason said, they're vitally important. And as Jason said, we all have, you should be when you enter any of our schools or try to enter, there are protocols there. You can't easily walk into our schools, or you shouldn't. If you can, then I need a phone call from you. That's the number one. And then we don't put on our website our safety and security plans for obvious reasons. All of us would be fine, but we don't want the bad people to know what our strategies and what our plans are. Somebody that might want to do something that would be negative in our schools. We have a safety and security person who works closely with the safety and security people in Williamson County schools. They are always collaborating and always looking to tweak what we're doing with school security to make it possible, make it as safe as we possibly can for our students and our employees and our visitors.
And it's a daily effort. And y'all, one of the worries we have is, can you 100% prevent a bad actor? You can be prepared to respond. You can do some preventative measures. Mental health is also a big issue for us. We're growing our mental health services. We've increased the number of school counselors, even at the elementary level, because we've seen mental health issues grow with our younger children. Likewise, students taking a right stand, that's some mental health services that we have for some of our older students. So it's a combination of finding needs where they are, not just the physical security.
And you mentioned mental health, and one of the questions submitted, I think, is worth asking. How are you doing? How are you two doing leading through this difficult time and out of the pandemic, because your well-being is important, and the person who submitted the question wanted to know you are greatly appreciated for serving with distinction and purpose. But how are you both doing? Are you going to retire?
I have an untrained therapy dog in my backyard.
We're doing well. I mean, when you get to work with some of the greatest people ever in education, and you get to collaborate, and as I was telling a gentleman earlier that I met whose wife was a retired teacher, and we were just, I was trying to convince him to convince her to come back to teach, and he said, that'll never happen. But I think when you love something, you have a passion for it like we do, we've overcome a significant challenge these last 30 months, 29 months. But I think we're doing well. You know, Jason and I, we communicate quite frequently, and we lament sometimes together and commiserate. But, you know, I think the people, the students, when you have a passion for students and student learning, and you have a passion for working with people, then it seems to make those problems and those challenges less noticeable, I think. Now, I think my hair's gotten grayer since the pandemic. Jason, I don't know about yours. I don't know. You may have something to add to that.
There's not enough of my hair to see, but you're looking good, Dr. Snowden. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing how somehow your skills and your history and how you've grown enable you to prepare and handle what comes. And so somehow we've been able to do it. It's teamwork. I don't think in the terms of the question. I don't, because I tend to focus on other folks. When the board voted to extend my contract to 2026 a couple of months ago, some of them praised us. And it's weird to say this, but it's hard to hear the praise because we're always focused on other folks, on growing them. And I think that's how it ought to be. And so our role is to serve and meet the needs of our students and meet the needs of our faculty and staff. And so I don't think of it in that way. You might see me at the gym on the elliptical moving fast from time to time, but I think we're doing okay.
Well, let's thank these gentlemen, all four of them. And I want to echo Williamson Medical Center's philosophy that kindness matters. Let's be kind, whether it's to our medical professionals or to our teachers or education community, but let's practice kindness matters. And we want to remind you about Saturday night and the opportunity to join us. You can support Franklin tomorrow. Who's had to stand in line to get their new license plate? Anybody? I didn't have to because I have a historic Franklin license plate and I could go to the kiosk and just get a new sticker. So that's one of the benefits of that too. And so thanks so much. And while we want to promote in-person communication, follow us on social media because we try to echo the channels that are here that are trusted channels for information. We try to promote and echo those. Our next Breakfast with the Mayors is October 25th, and we are out of here 2 minutes late, but it's 8:47 and we're out of here. Thank you. Go out and make it a great day, and remember, be kind to someone today.